We have made it into February of 2023, and it is time for us to talk about what we would buy, hypothetically, if we had to spend money, if it was burning a hole in our pocket on MTG cards.
$10, $100, $500, $1,000. Let's spend fake money. The video starts right now.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. I'm Jake, that's Joel. Let's get into our $10 pick. For me, I'm just going to get right into this. I'll go ahead and start it off, and then we're going to alternate. Joel will do his next pick for the $100 level, and then we'll alternate back for $500 and $1,000. Another fun thing about this is we do these blind. So I don't know what Joel's picks are, and he doesn't know what my picks are, but I'll go ahead and start this off, and I have one from Phyrexia, All Will Be One, and at the $10 level, it is just any copy of this card that you can find, Mycosynth Gardens. This is a card that I'm super high on. It's a fun card. It's one of these cards, you know, I say this sometimes, that we have the fine wine list. We're going to have to make a logo for that, a fine wine list for our channel that we can slap on certain cards. But it gets better with age. It's just a card that is an Artifacts Matters card. I think that some people will want it if you're in, like, obviously, if you're playing like an Urza big Artifacts package, you're probably going to want this card for some redundancy. Or even if you are just playing a commander and you have Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves, and it's not too mana restrictive, you may want to run it in there just to be able to protect your artifact equipment.
Yeah, I really think that this will be a universal land going forward. I think a lot of different archetypes, like you said, want this. Equipment strategies, Boros decks even kind of want it, you know? So it's just interesting when you have a land that is color neutral and can really fit into quite a few commander strategies. At around the $10 mark, you know, this isn't the kind of land that we'll see reprinted a lot very soon. And so, yeah, I could see, you know, not only that this is a great pick to just grab right now, but Jake, I could actually see this card sort of going up over time, at least in the short term.
Dude, there's already some people that are talking about it popping off in, you know, constructive formats like Modern and Pioneer. And you just have to think, when you have a big ability like that on the land and it doesn't come into play tapped, you can just use it for generic mana if you need to, or we should say colorless or waste, or you can use it for this big ability that it has. It's pretty crazy. It's versatile early, mid, and late game. It can do a lot of different things. I've seen it creep from 6s to 7s, and it's already at 8s, and I see people commenting about it, and it's definitely got some buzz behind it. So for me, this is like, if you have $10 to spend on MTG, and we should say this, nothing on this channel is financial advice, but yeah, probably a copy of this card. You won't hate having it in your collection.
People seem to be exploring the card in Modern right now as well, and so if it finds a home in decks like Bloom Titan, Amulet Titan, anywhere it can be an extra copy of necessary combo artifacts, or decks like Hammer Time where it's a 5th or 6th Colossus Hammer, you know, you get your Pure Steel Paladin down, you turn this into a hammer at the EOT, you can equip it for free, ready to go on your turn. This has a lot of potential, I do think. I really like this pick at $10. All right, for my $10 pick, I also went with Phyrexia, All Will Be One. And this is going to be interesting to the people that watched me live stream the reveal of this set, because I was very low on this card then, and I am very low on it now. But Jake, it's the art treatment that goes so hard, it's unbelievable. I would pick up a copy of Showcase Atraxa Grand Unifier. It is very generic. You get a lot of cards into your hand potentially. It's not a super exciting commander to be that like Phyrexian Lord that I think I definitely wanted to see, and I wasn't the only person that had that desire to see a true Phyrexian Lord commander. However, the Showcase treatment of this card goes hard. It goes unnecessarily hard. It didn't need to go how hard that it has gone, but it looks so sick. I actually want to get the original Atraxa altered into this art and just do a little swip swap on the art, and that will be the Atraxa that I use. But at $10 right now, I really think that if and when people want to play this, which people will, people love generically high value, refill your hand commanders. That's a thing. This card is going to go up as people want to play it. And this, in my opinion, is the treatment to get of it. and maybe one of my favorite treatments in the entire set, even though I don't like the card really that much personally.
You know, it's a card for me that I think is, you know, I agree with you. It's just generically powerful. You know, it's high mana, which I think is going to turn some people off. But you have green in there. And when you have green, you have the power to ramp to get this out to make sure that you can play it. I think it's a fine card. And yeah, at the $10 level, I can see why you included it. It's one where it's like when enough time passes, it's probably going to tick back up just because Atraxa historically has been such an impactful general.
Yeah, and look, eventually I might come around and be like, all right, I'll just build a super powerful thing. And the mana being a determinant, I mean, Jake, the other day on stream, we built Ovika, and that's a 7 mana. Is it Commander? Come on. You know, there are ways to make it work. For my $100 pick in February, Jake, I'm taking it back to a Judge card from last year that is at $97 right now. And it is one, if I had $100 burning a hole in my pocket, I would definitely want to pick up, and that is Animate Dead, the Judge gift card version from 2022. It's got a tally. What I'm going to say is a tally, like zombified in the art, and it's got that retro treatment as well. I just think that this is such a cool version of this card. It seems so unique that I think over time, this will be one of those that sort of just rises. It'll eventually plateau because demand is not infinite for a card like this, but sure, at $97, that would be my pick for the $100 choice this time around. I do want to make a note that the 30th anniversary edition retro version of Animate Dead is $140.
Oh, geez. Well, I pulled this card up, and I really do like the retro border on it. I like that Itali is featured here as well. That's a fun meme. Itali is such a widely used commander card, so I think that this is appropriate. And yeah, just that throwback feels like an old, it just feels like a cool old card. Animate Dead normally is like a $2 card. You could probably find it for like $1 in some spots.
Oh yeah, it's nothing. This is a collector piece, totally.
So at my $100 level, and I do like that pick, I also kept my $100 level in Phyrexia All Will Be One. And for me, at $100, and I wouldn't pay any more than this, honestly, I probably wouldn't pay more than like 80 or 85, is a Phyrexia All Will Be One complete bundle. Now, something weird happened with the complete bundles. Now, not only do the set boosters and the collector boosters have exclusives that only appear in those products, but the Phyrexia All Will Be One complete bundle, and we will put a review for that in the cards if you want to check that out. It's going to come out early March, and it is going to have 12 set boosters in it. It's going to have a promo Phyrexian Arena, which is always going to be a Phyrexian Arena. It comes with 40 traditional foil lands. 20 of them have the Phyrexian style. The other 20 are the other full art style. And then finally, it has a pack that only appears in it, and it is the only spot where you can find the Oil Slick lands and the Oil Slick mythics. So that's the only spot where you'll find an Oil Slick Mondrak or an Oil Slick Elish Norn. So keep that in mind. It's got this weird level of exclusivity, and historically when Wizards of the Coast does something like this, there's demand for it. So we're going to see there's probably going to be a lot of them on the market, so don't overpay. But if I did have to spend $100 on MTG, I would secure one of the complete bundles. That way I can roll the dice on getting one of the cool Oil Slick Legends.
So you would pick it up to open then? You're not talking about a buy and hold here. You're talking about a buy and roll the dice.
Well, you know, here's the thing, because it could go one or two ways. I don't see the price of it absolutely bottoming out.
Right.
If you did want to hold it, I don't think it's going to drop dramatically, because I do think there are people that are going to like, I mean, the Dominus cycle, dude, we've talked about these, like Drivnod, for example, is essentially a staple in Aristocrats. There's certain cards that are in that Oil Slick treatment that I think people are really going to want. And I'm not saying that from like a, you know, standpoint of trying to hype it. I just know like how the MTG hive mind works. And if those are going to be the most pimp versions of cards, then I think people are going to seek them out. Now, it could go the other way where there's so many variants, and because there's so many variants, people just don't care. And, you know, leave it in the comments how you feel about it.
Yeah, I compare it to the Throne of Eldraine bundle gift edition. You know, we were always inevitably going to get here, right? We worked our way through the collector products in the booster products, and then when they got to the bundle, it was just inevitable that they were going to have, you know, the regular bundle, which they then upgraded to a set bundle, and then they said we're also going to have a collector bundle.
They put a collector booster in the bundle. You remember when they did that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then people were like, nah, that's not really enough for me. So now they've like modified that booster, and they're like, well, it's a big tweak and it only exists here.
Right. Exclusive treatment. It'll stand to be seen if we see these every set, but there's also something to be said for the first time that something happens. This isn't the very first time we've gotten a collector-ish bundle version. You know, we have the gift versions at the end of most years, but with this is the first time that they've ever just fully stepped into the arena and said, hey, look, this is a really highly collectible item. It's got its own exclusive treatment. Please buy it, money, please. And so I think that this is them saying we're going to do this more often. But typically, you know, things lose luster over time, but those first times, those first forays into collectible variations typically have a little higher price. I'm not saying that's absolutely going to happen with this, but it could.
Dude, think about this really quick before we go to our next pick. Full art foil lands. Everybody was hyped. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
Then retro foil lands. Okay. Are you ready to have your mind blown?
I am so ready.
Full art retro foil lands.
Oh my God.
Think about it.
How do you even make it retro if it's full art?
You know that they're going to do it. They're going to take the full art treatment. They're going to put it in the retro border. It's only a matter of time. That's how you raise the stakes. That's how you create.
Hey, if you're enjoying the video, it's really cliche, but it really does help us out if you would hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
Now we're going to get to the part of the video where we're going to be like, I'm going to be kind of boring. At the $500 level, I'm going to pick something that's so generic. If I had to spend $500, I would get one of the dual lands I don't have. Let's say in this instance, it would be a Bayou from Revised, a nice copy, and we would just leave it at that. It would be about $375 to $400. Some of the dual lands have gone through a correction since the FUD of Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition, which is kind of warranted. You know, it's made me kind of timid about collecting in a way. I've just been like not buying nearly as many cards, not sinking money into reserve list staples because I don't even know anymore. But if I did have to buy a card at $500, I would go with the Bayou. I don't have a copy of it. I need it for my Carador deck. It's the only dual land I don't have for that deck, so that's what I would go with.
Chat, I warned you when you wanted us to expand this series from 1000 and 1000 to 1000, 500, 1000, that sometimes we would just be like, I don't know, dual land this week. I was a little more exciting with my $500 level.
500 foil thrumming birds.
500 $1 foils. No, but I am a little specky. I'm getting a little specky in here. You ready for this?
You're speculating here? Okay.
I want to spend $500 on 3 copies of Omnath Locus of Creation Game Day Store promo version. These are $150 each. This is a widely beloved, played, strong, silly commander, and this is the premier treatment. And it's already $150. There weren't that many of these created. This price is only going up. No, don't believe me on that last note. I cannot tell the future, and it could crash immediately. But I'm feeling a little specky, and I'm getting 3 copies of Omnath. 1 for me, 1 for my son, and then 1 to sell one day, and hopefully have 2 copies of Omnath Locus of Creation Game Day Store promo version for free.
I will say this. I only see 8 listings for it on eBay, and the cheapest one is $130.
Okay.
That is the cheapest that I
There you
can
go.
find.
Yeah, see, I'm under. 3 times 150 is less than 500, and that's as much math as I know.
That's got to be like right around 450 if I had to guess.
Somewhere around there, I'll consult my accountant. Let us know down in the comments what you think 3 times 150 is.
I'm thinking maybe right around 18 hundo. I like this card as well. I think it's a great treatment. I love these no text treatments on cards.
Agreed.
I love when they go with this. It's really cool, especially when the card is something that a lot of people know and a lot of people play with. Easy to fill in the blanks. I think it's a card, again, that has really attractive colors, man. It really does. It's sad that it doesn't have black, but you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have the evil. It's just all the goodness in MTG. And yeah, I think it's a fun card.
Let's cap it off with our $1,000 level, and I'm going first because I'm buying a lot of cards. Speaking like a lot, like a group of cards. There are a lot of cards, but not like a lot. Let me explain. I want to get one each of the Unfinity Galaxy Foil Shocklands. The market total for the entire group right now is around $1,100. So I'm going 100 over, but I came 50 under on my 500 level, and I'm going to beat somebody up and take $50 from them to make up the difference. So one each of the Unfinity Galaxy Foil Shocklands. I think that these are gorgeous. I think that they are wildly playable. We obviously will see Shocklands reprinted in a meaningful way at some point. You know it's going to happen. They've got to sell their next Modern Masters set, whatever it is. We may even see them in Lord of the Rings, even though I don't think that's the kind of set that's going to need a ton of heat. We're going to see them soon. That's going to happen. But these treatments were so exclusive, so rare, and are so attractive and different from other treatments that we've ever gotten outside of this set. I think that over time, this set of Shocklands will hold collectible value. And so that's what I would drop 4 figures on right now.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to look at those Shocklands, and then because of stuff like the expeditions and because of, you know, like the Zendikar Rising expeditions, stuff like that, the Battle for Zendikar expeditions are what I'm talking about originally. Because of those, it's easy to kind of like compare the Unfinity Shocklands and see kind of like based on, you know, past price memory where those will be. Now, they will be less than the expeditions, but the expeditions are still very expensive. So these are tough to find. You know, a lot of collector booster packs got opened and you don't find a lot of them per box. You have to get pretty lucky.
Yeah, they were
There's
rare.
foil ones out there that float around at like, you know, 30 to 50s, but then there's the Galaxy foil, and that's the real chase part of Unfinity. People don't like opening Unfinity either. I'm just speaking for myself and you know, 99% of people that I talk to that are like, nah, dude, I don't want to open that because a lot of the cards aren't usable, and you have to find like a specific night where it's like, hey, you know, it's hard enough to get people together to play Magic, but to be like, do you guys want to
anybody bring your index?
Yeah. So, yeah, mining for these cards, these Shocklands, it's tough because you're digging in through the trash for little nuggets of just like, oh, we found one. You know, that's it's harsh, but it's the truth. Now, with my $1,000 pick, it's going to be extremely interesting, and it is going to be Nethervoid from Legends. The reason I went with Nethervoid is because it is an old, extremely expensive reserve list card. It has naughty art on it by a naughty artist, which is not the reason that I'm getting the card, but if they ever did reprint it, they would have to change the art. It's a super powerful effect on a card. The effect of the card is just so absolutely busted that outside of Wizards of the Coast going in to do another Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary edition, I don't think it would ever get reprinted. There's just no way, unless they get rid of reserve lists, that they would bring back Nethervoid. So for me, this is a card that I've wanted for my collection for a long time. There's a lot of cards from this set that I want. Tabernacle, Moat, Abyss, Angus Mackenzie is one of the only cards that I have from this set that is meaningful, and Nethervoid would be really cool to have because it's just such a crazy powerful effect, and for Cube or a commander deck, it would be a great card to own.
Yeah, this set, man, Chains of Mistopheles, the Hallows Eve, Eureka, there's a lot of hits. We know Legends. We kind of saw it in another set inside it.
That's right. And Nether Void wasn't in Dominaria United collector
Right.
boosters. It was because, you know, and we could say it because of Harold McNeil, you know, who did Invoke Prejudice and just no art that Wizards of the Coast has wanted to move away from. You know, unfortunately, it just lives on Nether Void.
Those are our picks at 10, 100, 500, and 1,000. As always, please, before you leave, go down into the comments. Let us know what you would buy at each level, and you may see your comment in an upcoming video of what you're buying, where we react to your ridiculous ideas. So earlier in the video, Jake mentioned our full review of the complete edition bundle. Right now on screen, you should see a little clickable link. You can go and check out our full review of that product. Other than that, I'm tapped out.
Go like us on Facebook.